Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I am Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
This is part 2 of our look at a bunch of demos from the Steam Summer Game Festival. Part 1, we looked at a few. We're going to look at a couple here, and then just kind of toss out some that we tried that just seemed to have one or two cool things that stood out. The first one I want to get into here that we both, I think, really liked, at least I know I really liked it, was something called Drone Swarm, which was a really unique take on RTS gameplay where basically you're just one ship, but you have a shit ton of drones that you can kind of point out and do different things with. So the basic gameplay, again, looks very RTS, looks very much like a space real-time strategy game, but instead of building units and picking out your different units, you just have your drones, and you can either, in the demo, you could just set them to attack, and I think it was called wall, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Basically an attack and a defense. So you draw lines, and you basically just draw a line through where you want your drones to go through an attack. And then you can draw another line where you kind of build up like a wall of just drones that will block incoming missiles, lasers, whatever, to your ship. Really simple idea. But I think that simple idea almost takes kind of that RTS gameplay and just kind of puts it into the spot where you're just having fun, and just it makes it a little more fast-paced. So it makes it a little bit more frantic than a normal RTS game where you're being patient, you're building, you send your guys, you get your next set of guys, you send them. It's constantly moving with this.
Yeah, and I like that, like, when you attack an enemy, it's not like you click on the guy and then your drones attack him. It's like you actually just draw the path for the drones to follow. So, and then once a ship collides with that path or drones on that path, then the drones like they do attack damage sort of thing. So it's cool because like sometimes you can send out your drones, but the ship's moving too fast, so you can just like totally miss.
Oh yeah.
So your drone swarm will just like go flying by it. And it's like, oh shit, now I gotta do that. And it is really cool, like when you draw a wall, because like you see like incoming torpedoes, you're like, can I draw a wall fast enough? You swipe your mouse like all around your ship to create the walls as they explode. The one thing I really liked about this is like just the drone swarm itself looks sick.
Oh yeah, it looks awesome.
It's like, it is like, yeah, like you're saying, like it's a shit ton of drones. It's like it is a little swarm of drones, and as you draw lines and stuff, they make these like weird geometric shapes that kind of follow the path you drew, but they make like these like weird sort of like DNA sort of twists and turns and sort of thing. It's really kind of creepy looking, which I liked.
I think the one thing that I was thinking this whole time was like, oh my god, I want this on my Switch. Because just touch controls with it, I feel like would be so much more efficient. I'm not a PC person, so mouse and keyboard are not my favorite. So I'm just sitting here the whole time like, oh, I wish I could just swipe across the screen here, put them in a couple spots. I think that would just work so well.
I was thinking, like an iPad sort of thing or something like that. Yeah, because it felt weird, like drawing it. It's just like, man, I just want to draw with my finger.
Exactly. So fingers crossed, Switch port for this. I didn't actually look to see anything more specifically where it's coming to or what they've got in mind for it, but Switch would be great. And I do think, like you said, it instinctively just kind of has that quick motion of like, ooh, one here, which I feel like I could do a little bit quicker with my finger to get it there. You mentioned iPad. I think this does kind of almost have that feel of like an iPad game or something like that, but the quality of it is just so far beyond what you would picture if you're like, oh, that's just something that's on the App Store. It's so far above and beyond that in terms of quality, in terms of just precision and everything they've got that's kind of going on. It just feels like it's a step ahead of that.
Yeah, it looks as good as like a StarCraft 2 or something like that. Just some like really high quality RTS game. So it's just like, and yeah, I thought it was weird that you were playing the good guys though, because man, those drones look so evil. They look just so mean and gross. It's kind of cool.
That is that sci-fi thing where you think giant swarm of drones. You don't think, oh yeah, that's the guy. The good guy's got the giant swarm of drones. He's trying to save me with those.
Yeah, you never see like a good guys and a swarm of drums like tear through an enemy ship. Like, yeah, we're the good guys. So
we did it.
I'm hoping that they do some kind of sort of cool twist with it or something. But yeah, it seemed like the story was like still very much in the early stages at that point.
Yeah, and you don't get too much for that. And again, with like an RTS, there's a whole lot of stuff that normally builds into that. So
sure, yeah,
we'll see. The next one we both looked at was something called Metamorphosis. I want you to start out with this one because this is one that you told me to play, and I kind of glanced at it and was like, what the hell is this? Is kind of my feeling by the time I got about 5 minutes into it.
Yeah, so I kind of knew what it was going into it, and that's not like, ooh, I am well read. So it's based on the story by I haven't read the story, so let's just be clear. I'm just aware that it's based on the story. A Franz Kafka story called Metamorphosis, in which a person wakes up, and it's kind of assumed it's a cockroach, but just say he wakes up as a sort of vermin. And what you're doing is you're playing through the scene where he wakes up as a cockroach. And how the game, and it's such a fun, I'm so glad you didn't know what this was beforehand. And how it plays out is like you're basically going through the cyclical thing of finding a key in your room, opening the door, going down a hallway, and then ending up back at your room. But now the room is bigger. And then the room is bigger. And the room is bigger. It's because your character is slowly turning into a cockroach.
Until at the end, your little legs pop out, and the last time through, you get little legs in front of you. That was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, and then you can climb up walls and stuff too. And the thing that's like I think the thing that's, again, I just think the most surprising games that came out of this was just like the level of quality of these things. Like they freaking nail the aesthetic. It feels very uncomfortable but kind of fun. It's kind of like the way I was thinking about it was like it's Psychonauts without jokes.
I could see that.
So it's this weird, like, sort of like dream-like quality, but it's not oppressive. It's this kind of just like, what is going on? I have questions. And it's just,
And the way the story is presented in there, too, does kind of that same thing where you're kind of like, oh, shit, I get it. Like, even the main character is getting this as you go through. There's never this, like, oh, my God, like, what the... This is the worst thing. It's just like, is this really? Really? Is this what's going on right now? Am I a bug? I'm a bug, aren't I?
Yeah. He's like casual about it. It's not like he's like a little scared, but he's not like horrified. It's like he's a little scared. And it's cool because as you keep going through the rooms, there's a message from some sort of mysterious organization that's aware that you're turning into a bug, and they're offering you a job. There are some really cool little details though of your character is narrating, and when he turns into a bug, they do this super cool sound effect of like, as he's talking in sentences, his voice will go into this like weird growl with certain words that sounds very insect-like and creepy. But I don't know. This game was like super fun. So I was curious, like, did you have any idea what this was going in? So like, did you know what was happening like when you started it?
There were a few where you just like check this one out, and I just literally without even looking just typed in Metamorphosis, clicked download demo, and then just loaded it right up. Cool. So I literally had completely nothing. There were 3 or 4 that you said where I was just like, well, Doug said I should play it, so I'm just gonna go for it, and this was one of the ones. So I think going in, like just from the little like 2 seconds of the trailer that popped up, I go, okay, you're probably just walking around this room. But then kind of as it went on, it just kind of gave you that cool feeling. And it's one where it's like, this is something where I want to see where it goes. Like, this is cool the way that this is set up. Like, there's enough of that mystery, like you said, kind of with this weird job offer and whatever's going on with that there's enough of a hook there to kind of bring you back in and go like, all right, you got the basic premise now. Here's something that we're going to actually do with it.
It felt like it ended so well because it ends on kind of a cliffhanger, but also kind of satisfying in that like I want more. So to me, it's like Darksiders ending where it's like a hard cut to a cliffhanger, but it's like, you know what? I want to know more. It's not like I'm mad at you guys. It's just like, ooh,
good spot to end. Good.
It's the perfect demo.
I would almost, I think this is one I think that was towards the top of my list of ones that I played. Like you said, it had everything going for it. And it's awesome. It's a really cool game to kind of keep an eye on. So the next one is another one that you suggested.
Oops.
And this game has everything in it that I should love because I love a good rhythm game.
I thought you'd love this.
It's super simple. So you just hit the space bar. It's on 7.
Well, what's the game called?
Oh, sorry. That's an important part. This game is called Rhythm Doctor. So
there we go.
I wanted to talk about it so much that I couldn't even remember. But yeah, so you just count to 7 and you hit the space bar. And that's it. That's the whole game. I did not get past the first thing because it was so hard. And now, just to put this into context, like...
Mr. Rock Band.
I was going to say, like, my goal was like 5-star expert, everything guitar, drums, everything rock band, guitar hero, you name it, like, went for it because those games are awesome and I loved them. In real life, I have literally 0 amount of rhythm. And this game, I think, pointed that out so hard because it's not like just follow the little dots, which I can do. It's like, no, you actually need to keep this beat and we're going to mess with you so much. And I can't keep a beat to begin with.
That's really funny. 'Cause that's totally what this game is. This game is about like just tapping your finger to a beat.
Yeah.
And like it's not. And I know it's like that's what every rhythm game is like. No. It's literally just the tap. It's like it is a rhythm game with one button and one note. You just got to hit the note at the right time.
Exactly.
And like and like what you're saying, it's like so you have to hit it on the 7th beat. So, but the thing is, the game is doing everything in its power to make sure you don't hit that 7th beat.
Yep.
But so what it is, it's like you're saying with like a lot of games, you'd see like a note kind of flying off screen, and then when it hits this point, you got to hit the button. But there's no real indicators of like when you're supposed to hit it. You just have to kind of like listen to the music, and it's like, okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and tap, and the game is like constantly like shifting things. So like the concept of the game is you're a doctor.
Yeah.
And I guess that's an important thing. And these are diseases. And what it is, it's like, so you're trying to cure a patient, and it's really cool pixel art. Not a huge fan of pixel art. Pixel art in this is very good.
Yes.
And so you're like kind of watching a story play out, but as the person's getting more and more infected, you're getting all these like weird screen garbles and stuff like that. And the game kind of like teaches you like, okay, on the 7th beat. So I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then like on 7, you hit the button, but it messes with the numbers and stuff. And then then you realize like a certain point, it's like, oh, I need to completely ignore the visuals and only listen to the song.
Yes. Because it will go 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 6, 7. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, or it'll just go 1, 2, 5, and it messed with me so much that again I couldn't beat the first boss. The best I did was when I closed my eyes and just I closed my eyes, turned the music down really low, and just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, and that was the best run I had at this, and I still lost because I can't. And I think it was one of those things where it frustrated me so much. It's like, oh, rhythm game, I got this. Like, where's the hardest setting? Like, let's do this. I was wondering
why you're so mad at this game. I was like, it's kind of fun.
It's like, fun. It's goofy. It's a cool premise. It was just like that frustration of like, I can't. Like, I physically don't feel like I can play this game. I cannot count really to 7 on a beat for 4 minutes for this whole song.
It's really funny because if you got to the second level, so the second level is kind of cool because I was playing in full screen mode, and all of a sudden my window size went to like kind of like a window, and I was like, oh, something must be wrong. But I was like, okay, I'll keep playing because I'll play some games in window mode, whatever I'm playing. And I'm sitting there like tapping along. It's not 1, 2, 3, 7. It's just like 1, 2, and you just have to hit on 2. That's all I gotta do. And it's these two characters singing back and forth to each other, but then like the window like starts moving up my screen. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Cool. And then it's moving down my screen, and it starts like just like moving around and making like heart shapes and stuff on the screen. And so like you're like really distracted, like trying to like just follow the song. And at some point it's kind of cool because like the screen will actually like, go off of your screen, and then like the second it comes back, that's when the beat hits.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like really slick. And then the final level was a musical where there are 4 different characters singing, and they're all on kind of different beats, and you're trying to hit like the right note, that's when I fell apart. But it's cool. I really liked it. It's a lot of fun.
No, it is definitely one of those games where I was looking at going like, man, I wish I could do this because this is really cool. And that just, it wasn't happening for me.
Yeah, sure.
A very different tone. Say No More. This is a game that this actually was the first one I tried, which I feel like, or no, maybe it was the second. I think it was the second one I tried because you recommended it to me right away. You're like, oh yeah, you should try this. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have started so weird.
It is very weird. So basically, you're an intern, and you kind of get that like bossed around intern, like, go get me coffee, go over here, go talk to this person for me. And you put in this tape, and it's just literally like, here's how you can say no more often. And you just hit the button, and it just goes, no, no, no. And you just run through yelling no at everybody.
Yes.
And that's it. It does have some cool puzzle aspects almost, I think, that it was trying to hint at towards the end.
It's a hint of an idea. It's not there yet. There's like, but they're playing. You can feel that they're playing with puzzle stuff.
It feels like you've got, like, this is the first 10 minutes, and they're like, okay, well, we only really have, like, we want to get you into the game. So I think if you just started with the weird stuff at the end of the game, like, it would make no damn sense. So it's like, we have to do the first 10 minutes where you're just walking through saying no, but you get to the end, it's like, okay, well, some people respond to a more aggressive no or a slower no, or you can sarcastically clap at them before you say no.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it. Like, clap.
Or you just laugh in their face. And it's just this weird thing of like, how you can tell that they're going for what is going to make this person tick. Like, what is the thing I can do? And there's got to be some puzzle aspect going there towards the end of this of how can I get this person to respond to my no? Because eventually you're yelling no and just blowing, you're going no, and just blowing them out of a window and stuff like that. And it gets really crazy towards the end.
Yeah, it was cool. I think the style is like one thing that I really, really liked about it, because it's like very PS1 graphics, but done really well.
Yep.
Kind of reminds me of like Mega Man Legends. It's like these really bright colors, really low poly. And then like it's cool because like when you listen to the tape for the first time, the no tape, there's like a wrestler guy who's like, you need to say no more sort of thing. And it's kind of like a fun power fantasy. Although I don't hate my job enough to like for like really to click, because it is like telling everybody at work that like, no, I won't do this. But I was like, I had some nice internships. Like they weren't that mean to me. I had to copy something like once, but most of them were trying to help me sort of thing.
I had that same feeling of like, do people really like, my job's not perfect, but I never feel like I need to go around and just scream no in people's faces. Like there's some stuff I don't like doing, but maybe I should say no more.
Yeah, because it's some of the things I tell you to say no to are like kind of benign. It's like you could have probably done that. I don't know. It's your first day. The context like it's like your first day on the job and like you're an intern and like nobody's like, okay, I mean,
could you grab this off the printer? Like, yeah, I can see the printer. I could do that.
But I mean, it is like, it is cool. Like it's fun. Like they make the boss seem like a jerk. He like steals your lunch and that sort of thing. It is fun. There's a very cool like little Easter egg where if you don't say no to somebody, and there's a character who comes up and says, "Will you play my game?" And then if you don't, do you see? And if you don't say no to them, they're like, "Oh, so you want to play my game?" And then what it is, you sit down at their computer and they play their game, and it's a Pokemon, like it's like a Pokemon battler game, and it says fight. And then you say no, and then the Pokemon hug each other, and then you keep moving forward. So there's like, they're definitely like playing with things. Like there's a very cool concept here. I don't think it's like there yet, but it was definitely like just like it's visually just arresting, and the concept is super cool. I just like want to see more.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I think it's a good introduction to what they want to do. It's a good way just to throw it out there, go, here's what we're doing, and it's a good hook, and it makes you kind of want to see, okay, where is this game a year from now? What is it that they take with this concept and the final product is?
It's a cool pitch.
For sure. The next one here is something called Transient. This is one that you gave a shot that I did not get a chance to. So what is this one about?
So Transient is like every Cthulhu game out there. No, I'm just kidding. So I don't really know Cthulhu mythos that well. I kind of have an idea of what they are. So when this game start up and it's just like, oh, I guess I'm in Cthulhu world. It starts out, your character like gets turned into a weird fish man, and you're walking around like weird fish things, and you do like a very simple puzzle, and you talk to some guys who are just like, okay, what's going on? But the thing I kind of noticed is like the conversations you were having with characters were very strange. Like you've been here before, but your character doesn't know that. And you're talking to a sort of an eternal being who has seen him multiple times, but this is the first time you've seen him, and this eternal being can only exist for a certain amount of time before it rots away. So like you bring it to life, it tells you that it's met you here, but not at this time before, and it's met you many times before, and then he's like, oh, my body is failing me, and then he just dies and just like into like a disgusting pool. So there's like these weird hooks that are just like immediately like, what is going on? But then the thing suddenly shifts. So you're in this like weird fish palace. There's clearly Cthulhu stuff going on. Oh, there's a cool like bug. It's like a tick, and he's like, "Oh yes, it's like these will the things that will devour the world." It's like it's only a matter of time, but this is what they'll do, and they'll devour the world. And there's nothing we can do about it. But it wasn't even like, "Oh no," it's just like, "Oh, this is just a matter of fact." No, these are the world devourers. Don't worry about them. You know,
no big deal. Just
yeah, exactly. But it's like it's just so weird, like how casual this character that's talking to you is about like just the end of the world. And he's like sort of mythos. So I was like immediately just kind of hooked with like the story. It all of a sudden does this weird shift where your character's having some sort of flashback or something, and you're suddenly dropped in this cyberpunk world, and it's like a cyberpunk world that has like discovered Cthulhu. Yeah, it's super cool. And so what it is, he's having a flashback to I guess the time when he was like transported there. So he's like chasing a mysterious figure down hallways, and it's all very cyberpunk and stuff. But the thing that's really cool, and this is the part where you'll probably immediately lose interest, is that there's puzzles. It's a puzzle game. But the puzzle mechanics are totally different between each puzzle. So it's not like The Witness. I mean, even The Witness, I guess, kind of changed a bit. Or like Portal, where it's like, here's a single concept, and now we're going to do everything with this concept. It was just different types of puzzles, and it's not even worth explaining. But they were like kind of interesting puzzles. And as you're going along, you're realizing this sort of like cyberpunk world that's like really kind of merged with the Cthulhu mythos. So like you'll go like by these like tanks of like really like grotesque people, but they're also like really beautifully rendered. So it's not just like, oh, it's a weird gross man. It's like, oh, it's like a guy with like fish gills and like weird like eyes or something like that, and like his fingers are growing strange. I feel like you're googling this as I'm talking. It's really cool.
It's one of those ones where like, I want to look at this now because I didn't even look at this one. So
no, I told you it was a puzzle game.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I didn't look at it. But the world sounds cool.
No, it is, and so like you're kind of going through this like weird, like I was saying, this like weird cyberpunky thing, and it's like not really clear if like the Cthulhu thing is even like an invading force or just part of that world.
Weird.
And they do like a lot of this cool mix match stuff. But the thing I just really liked was like it was a cool puzzle game that had horrific aspects, but they weren't done to scare you. They were just done to exist in this world of just like, oh, this is kind of just like a horrific world. It's
That's
not
cool,
like
yeah.
Boo.
Yeah, like how many people can get to jump on YouTube and Twitch?
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. But it's just kind of like, oh, it's really weird that there's like humans are just like casually interacting with these like beings. It's really neat. Also, it looked like incredible. It looked absolutely incredible, like AAA graphics. Like this is one of those games, like, again, I don't think I would have known this was an indie thing unless somebody had told me.
Nice.
Yeah. I like that you're like sitting there Googling. I can tell that you're like,
I just copied it and put it into Google. I didn't read anything. Anyway, so to wrap up all this, we've both, I think, ended up playing probably 20, 30, who knows how many of these individual demos. There are a few that just kind of had one or two neat aspects that we just wanted to kind of toss out here at the end, just to give a little credit to them because they did some cool things that we noticed. So, Ynglet.
It's I was gonna say it's in Denmark, but no. What's the language they speak in Denmark?
I don't know. But anyway,
it's not Icelandic. It's not Icelandic. It's very similar to. It's a game that's very similar to Hohokam.
Oh, okay.
But so instead of in Hohokam you could go everywhere. It's like you're a snake that can kind of go anywhere. But in this one there's like a gravity, so you're kind of like you're sort of like jumping like through like a block. So you have a block and you can kind of swim around the block, and you kind of like swim around the block and you jump off to another block and you're swimming in that block.
I saw a trailer for this.
Yes, probably. It's very cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's cool because every time you land on a block, it does this kind of like neat explosion of color. The one thing I just want to talk about this one real quick, because that is the concept of the game. It's neat. You should play it. It's fun. They do a super cool checkpoint system. So anytime you jump into a block, if you sit there and wait, it'll set that block as a checkpoint.
Oh, that's cool.
So you are basically making your checkpoints. And so like, oh, this jump actually looks like it's going to hurt. Okay, I'm going to let my character pause and does this kind of like cool like little effect around the circle. It goes, wow. And it's like, okay, that's my checkpoint. Now I can make the jump safely. It's just like a kind of a neat thing. So you can kind of imagine if
So you can kind of pace it yourself, essentially.
Yeah. So if you want to go and it's like, I want to have 0 lives and do this all at one shot. It's like, okay, you can do that. Or if you like, or it's like, imagine it's like being able to save at like every Mario platform.
Yeah.
And that might be kind of inconvenient if you're trying to save at every platform, but the option is there.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just thought that was a really neat concept. It's a cool game. Nice. I don't know if I'll play more of it, but I like that. I just like that.
Nice. Zodiac. This was Star Fox SNES with 64 controls, and just it played super well. Had that kind of Super Nintendo era look to it. Super fun. I think the demo was maybe 5 minutes, just one quick level and a boss, but definitely something that kind of hit that Star Fox need that I haven't been able to hit in a while because Star Fox sucks lately. I like that use the SNES graphics of Star Fox, but like clearly I feel like the SNES graphics of Star Fox is kind of there because it needed to be, and this one it doesn't need to be there, so it can kind of play around with what it wants to do and like add more detail or not detail. Looked really, really cool. It was fun. It was just a fun quick 5 minutes that I'm guessing is probably a ways off, but something to kind of keep an eye on. Gloomwood, which I know has been getting a lot of buzz from different places. Mm-hmm. You added this one to our list here.
Yeah, I wasn't into it. I wanted to say it. No, it wasn't just a hate on it. It was cool. It was like Thief, but then I realized it was funny because I was like, oh, this is just like Thief. And then like having vague memories of Thief, I was like, wait a second. Now I remember not liking Thief. It's okay. This is basically like, so Ultra Kill, if you liked Quake and Quake 3 and stuff, Ultra Kill is that game.
Okay.
If you liked Thief, that's this game. So if you don't like Quake and that stuff, you're not going to like Ultra Kill. And if you don't like Thief, but it's cool because they're made from the same production company. So there's something, they're not our same publisher. So there's something, this publisher is like kind of trying to find this like very weirdly specific genres that it's doing that I kind of like. That's like taking something old and then
making it new,
publishing it and making it new, kind of. But it's not like Devolver. It's like Devolver's kind of always doing a bunch of different stuff. They just have a weird attitude across. But this one is like, oh, it's very clearly picking certain types of games. That was kind of neat.
Interesting. Wasn't my thing either. Starstruck, Hands of Time, another one you played.
Yep. The weirdest game I've ever played. It is the weirdest game I've ever played. You are I just want to explain the concept and then not comment on it. So you are a spaceman who is told that they're in the years past that something happened back in time, and you need to figure out what happened back in time to stop the world from ending. So you are a spaceman with realistic hands sitting in a spaceship, and then when you go back in time, you turn into a little clay animation boy who walks around a town that's similar to Earthbound, and then you play rhythm games because you want to be a rock star. But then also the gameplay will sometimes shift to you play a giant hand that goes around smashing the town, which is bad because you're changing too much of the past. But then they say, well, you're trying to change the past, so smash as much stuff as you can. So you run around this little clay boy's town is now a giant hand as you smash things. And then this later helps the boy get into new pathways. And then also there's a rock star girl, and then her mom's a cop, and then her mom arrests her, and then you can play a song on an acoustic cardboard guitar, and the rhythm game part is not very fun.
So I played ShipBreakers, which I think was one of those games where it hit that perfect feeling, like in between a couple of these kind of these cool concept things where it was just simple arcade fun. Think Resogun Super Stardust, where you're
oh shit, I didn't know that.
You're just a ship on a giant ball, and you just kind of go around. You're a pirate ship, and you can go all the way around the globe. There's other ships trying to attack you, and you're just trying to shoot them. It's very similar to kind of those types of games.
Is that Stardust? Is it like Stardust? Did you play that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like that, but you're a pirate ship on a big ball of water.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, super simple. Was just kind of one of those nice ones where all these games are so story heavy or have this weird hook or whatever, and it was just like, oh, cool. I can kind of get lost in this for 20-30 minutes and just kind of try and see how long I can survive. Basics, just shoot ships. Occasionally stuff starts falling out of the sky. There's big tentacles that try and get you, but just kind of cool.
Does it look good? I feel like that would actually...
It looks okay.
No.
I couldn't tell if it was early or if that was the aesthetic they were going for.
Sure.
It is just kind of, the game is just a big blue ball with some ships on it. So
gotcha.
Very, very simplistic. I don't know if early look they're going for, what the deal was with it, but kind of just a fun break to some of the other stuff that's in here. Gori, Cuddly Carnage.
Yes.
That's a name.
Yeah. So I feel like there's like a lot of games that people will pull from pretty regularly. It's like, okay, this game is like Castlevania. This game is like Mario. This game is like this. Well, this game is like Conker's Bad Fur Day, which I was very much into because I love stupid, aggressive games that are like in your face. Like I like DMC. I like Sunset Overdrive. I just like that really dumb in your face aesthetic where people are swearing and it's like gross and weird. And you play as a cat that's on a hoverboard that swears. And then you go around cutting up unicorns. And it sounds so dumb because it is very dumb. And honestly, like, I think it's still like it needs a lot of work on it, but it's just a, it was fun just seeing just a brash, stupid game that was done pretty high quality. And I just like that. I don't know. There's something weird about like a game where the characters are very aggressive and mean and dumb, doing very aggressive, mean and dumb things because that's what most video games are, but they don't acknowledge that.
Yep.
So it's like it's just cool. It was cool. It was fun and gross.
Nice. Golden Light, another one that you tried out.
Golden Light is the only game to ever make me physically ill because it was so disgusting. That's
Like,
all I'm gonna say about
in terms of aesthetic or in terms of
everything. Everything. It's not like motion sickness. It's just a disgusting, disgusting, gross game. And it's like clearly that's the aesthetic. It's not even like it's not like ooh a dead body. It's just the tone of it and the
Gotcha.
things that you're doing in it are just gross and grimy and dirty. And I hated it. And I felt like it absolutely nailed what it was going for, though. So I was just like, it just felt like such a weirdly confident game of just how gross and dumb it went. Like, it's not even dumb; it's just gross and disgusting.
Nice.
And it's just, ugh. And it did it very, very well.
Nice. One that stood out to me just for the aesthetic and the way it played was Ghostrunner.
Oh yeah. This was like super. Yeah, people are really into this one.
Super polished, super cool look to it. Basically just running through it, almost kind of by the time I was done felt like a mix of like Mirror's Edge and Super Hot, where you're kind of running through different things, and the actual act of killing the bad guys is more of a puzzle more so than actually what you're doing, because you kind of had to time your jumps, you had to time your movement a little bit. Very similar to Super Hot, where it wasn't just pick up the gun and shoot stuff, it was you had to think through how you were going to do it before you did it. Instant restarts, but just a ton of polish, cool world, awesome music, and yeah,
but why didn't we like this one? Because I don't like it.
My issue was I just couldn't get the controls down. I was really struggling with the controls, and it was one of those where I think it was kind of like, okay, I get it, I don't want to keep putting in I don't need to see the end of this, I get it.
Yeah, the control. I think you're totally right, because I was struggling with the controls too, and it felt like it's like I should be doing this better, like smoother or something. Like I don't feel like a cool ninja. I feel like I'm like, I'm a ninja.
Yeah, it almost had the like Trials if I was bad at Trials, where you're like, I'm just riding a dirt bike, and I should be able to do this. And this had that like I'm just trying to jump from there to there, and I keep getting shot. So mine was just.
And it might be that actually, if you just like learn how to do it.
Yeah, and again, I think it's one of those things where if I was going to put the time in and try and get good at it, I think I could. If I knew it was more than 20 minutes, put actually the effort in and try to figure it out. But I think I had that like, yeah, I get it. I can move on now.
Yeah.
Spinach.
Spinch.
Okay, it's got the
cool. Spinch is a 2D platformer. It's a very okay 2D platformer. I think mechanically it needs to be like a tighter game, but the game is made by an artist, and it is just the aesthetic is like so cool. It's just like very colorful and rainbowy. It doesn't really matter what the characters are doing or anything like that, but it's kind of like it's like running through an album cover, like a really trippy psychedelic album cover. Nice. And I just thought it was like I just really like the aesthetics, and it was very rainbowy and colorful, and it just wasn't super fun. I think there's just something with like mechanically it didn't feel great, but it's just like aesthetically it's like it's not jaw-dropping, but it's just like I have never seen anything that looks like this before.
Nice. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Last one on the list, SkellBoy, which we both tried, but I think you had a little bit more feeling for it than I did.
Yeah, I think SkellBoy is like, it's a game that's like, I remember even seeing it at PAX, and it's a game that kind of turns heads because the aesthetic is so cool.
Yeah.
It's like, so you have 2D pixel textures, but the whole game is 3D. Yep. And then your main character and all the enemies are kind of like Super Paper Mario style, but like a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
And I just really love the aesthetic to it as well. I know we're kind of talking about two aesthetically pleasing games in a row. But it was just like a fun kind of like lighthearted game. It was like clearly they were aping off Super Paper Mario and that sort of thing. But it seemed like it had that tone as well. Like you're kind of like a zombie guy who's like swapping heads and like swapping body parts and that sort of thing. But it just had like this. Yeah,
I liked the instant switch in the gameplay where you just killed it, the head popped on, no menus, no cycling through things. It's like if you want that one, you hit it. It had that old arcades feel of just like, here's the next pickup, here's the next pickup, here's the next pickup. Let's not overthink this.
Yeah. No, that was cool because like you're not swapping between weapons. It's like, this is your weapon now. This is your head now. This is your feet now. This is your this now. And sometimes they have like really huge buffs, and sometimes they hurt you. There's like an enemy that like eats your head. Like you can also replace your head, and there's an enemy that like it eats your head, and all of a sudden your controls are reversed, and you're just like, what the hell? But that's now your equipped head. Yeah. It seemed like it was one of those things where they're kind of like trying things out. It's like I'm kind of curious what the full game's gonna be, because I felt like, okay, we're just messing with a lot of mechanics to see what we can do. Kind of felt like another pitch game sort of thing.
Yeah. Tons of other demos on there. that we either tried or didn't get a chance to look at. But just a really cool idea that I hope even once things kind of open back up more and you can get to packs and stuff, that they keep doing, because for those of us in the middle of nowhere, it's nice to actually have a chance to try some things.
Yeah, are you gonna hop on to like the next one, like next year? Are you excited for this event?
Yeah,
This
is definitely something I would look forward to. Where it's like, okay, cool. And I know they've done like smaller versions of this, but I think just kind of this one big thing is just kind of a neat way to approach this. So hopefully it keeps up. Hopefully this worked out well for Steam, for the developers, for all the people who are able to put some work in and get some demos on this thing.
Yep.
But we are Workforce Gaming. You can follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming. Subscribe to us wherever you're listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye.